Quick hello, I'm back up at the workshop. If you hear any noise in the background, it's Jess, because Jess is up here working as well. At some point we might just sort of scan down and just show him hard at work in his nice clean work area. Today it's wet, it's horrible outside, and I thought I'd do a little bit more work on the Morris, because when I put the car back on the road in June, when I did the major welding work in June, it was solid, but it was thrown together. And sort of, if I open up this door here, I had to replace all this sill section. Now, there really wasn't anything, stepping out around, you've got the inner sill here, and there wasn't, all of this didn't exist. And it was kind of interesting, shall we say. So, when I put the car together, I didn't have time to really tidy the welds up. I didn't have really time to paint it. So I'm up in the workshop today. I've got sort of chance to sort of do that, tidy up, because I took this panel out. To put new sills in properly, you need to take out these quarter panels, and I didn't realise at the time you can buy new ones of here, so I could have just welded it in new, but that's maybe something which I'll do for another day. So but I had to take all of this out, and this is just not, it just isn't, it's not very good. Last week I repaired the other side, which, as we stand round, is now looking so much better, because I sort of pigeon welded it in along the top, and you know, that's looking a lot better. It's not quite the right shape, because that whole side of that car was more by guesswork than anything else. When I did the work originally, I welded the bar in, which, if you can see there to there, to keep that space, to keep the bottom of the door the right distance. One of the good things about what Jess said to me was that if you don't, Morris Miners is notorious for the body shells for twisting. As soon as you take out the sills, as soon as you take out the A and B pillars, they tend to sort of move quite a lot. So yeah, I took Jess's advice on that one and made sure it didn't. What I should have done was perhaps also was to weld a piece off from the left hand side to the right hand side of the car to keep the shell from moving that way as well, but it's not bad. I mean, we've looked, oh look, and this beautiful young lady is known as the boss. She's come in, and she's called Minky, and she's the yard cat, and she's gorgeous. Minky, say hello. Meow. What'd you say? Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So that's time for me to crack on, and hopefully we'll get edited. Except it's very difficult to work when you've got such a lovely lady here, isn't it? She's such a beautiful distraction. Right, back again, and hopefully you can see now that I've taken a bit of an angle grinder to the bottom of this door. Well, actually it's a wire brush on an angle grinder, which is that one. And this is interesting. If you can see this silvery colour here, as opposed to the steel, you can see where, when these cars came out of the factory originally, there was something called lead loaded, which obviously in later cars they use body filler. Lead obviously not being very good for the people who are doing the work. But lead doesn't shrink, it's much better, it's slightly flexible, and it's much better actually to a car bodies than filler, but it's obviously a lot worse to use. And this wonderful, this shows that this door here has never been touched since it was made. And I imagine this is probably the original door, judging by some of the architecture on it. I think it's still got, I think it's an early door to do with the shape of the window and so forth. So yeah, anyway, that's interesting. So what I've got to do now is cut out these sections, and I've got some nice 1.2 metal. I was using 0.9, but we went to our local we went to SJ Andrews, which is our local bloody hell, what do you call SJ Andrews? It's steel supplier. Yeah, well, the local steel supplier, SJ Andrews, metal steel supplier, about from here, about sort of 5 miles away. Brilliant people, really friendly, really lovely. And when we were up there last week, Jess said he uses 1.2 mil, which actually is probably closer to what the original Morris Miners were made with. 1.9 mil thickness plate steel is very good for modern cars, but, and if I can get up, which is not good with a dodgy knee, Here we go. This is 1.2, which I don't know if they can focus on that. And somewhere down here, you can see the difference in thickness there between the two. So anyway, I'm going to be doing my repair panels with the Morris today in the 1.2 because it's closer to what was originally there. Right, having taken the lead back, you can still see a little bit left there. You can obviously see I thought I could get away with doing a quick patching, and it looks like I'm going to have to virtually put in a whole new section. I'm going to have to cut this section along here. So I'm probably going to do this patch in probably probably 3 patches. I'm going to put a patch in there. I should be able to blob that little hole in using the welder and grinding it back. I'll put that patch in. I'm going to cut a patch probably from there, run it along that edge because I know that edge is good, and I'll draw a nice straight line along here and cut it down, and I'll come down to there because that gives me then a lip which I can then with the lip I can bend over the bottom edge of it slightly just to make sure it's fitted right. In fact, actually no, it feels like actually the bottom edge is just the bottom edge. So when I put the other panel in from the bottom of the door, which won't be today, it'll be another day when I've got the door out, I can then do this. So I'll put a little patch in there. I might even just bob that in with using the welder actually, but I'll possibly just put a repair patch in there, repair patch, possibly put one in there just to give us, maybe make that one out of one piece from there to there, and then that will give me an edge along here so I can weld all this piece in as a single piece. Anyway, that's a quick update. Right, I really hope that you can't hear the music over this, so I don't want a copyright strike, so forgive me for talking slightly quickly and slightly loudly. This is the repair panel which I put in here. I did a little repair panel there, and at some point I'm going to have to do the inner section of the door. I'm just going to cut in a section and weld in a section there now, and then that's that door looking quite a lot better. I will, once I've welded in that panel, made the panel up and welded that one in, I'll grind this lot back and you can see what I've done. Then we can paint it. Anyway, so that's the door looking quite a lot better and the shape's almost there, and to be honest, sort of, this car's never going to be a contour queen, so it's good enough. Anyway, so that's that. Cool. Quick overview. Let's shut that door properly. I've welded in these panels now, and hopefully they're not beautifully done. I had a few problems with the welder initially setting it up, but these panels are all welded in. I was using the damp rag technique, which is put damp rag down, weld somewhere else. But hopefully they're all nice and solid. And I'm going to grind this lot back and then paint them. That shape's almost right, but not quite. But it's this car's never going to be pristine. It's more a question about making it good enough, and it's a lot better. Anyway, so that's those patches in. Now I'm going to spend sort of 10 minutes grinding them back, and I'll take a picture afterwards. Okay, hopefully you can't hear the music that's coming out from next door, but hopefully you can see I've just been grinding down, and hopefully you can see that whilst it's not perfect, it's all now solid, and it's a damn sight better than it was. And a little bit of skim on it. I'll probably just paint it over actually, and a little bit of skim. Hopefully this will be good longer term. Maybe a little bit more grinding down just here, a little bit down that seam. I'll probably run the angle grinder. I'm using a flat disc, a worn out flat disc for fine grinding. I use a normal grinding disc. That happens to be a Bosch one, but so forth. I normally use a normal grinding disc for taking off anything too tall, but I use a flat disc for helping get down the more subtle shapes and stuff. It's not perfect, but it's enough there, and a little layer of skim. It's going to be nice and it's going to be solid. Anyway, so that's that.